What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, let's get straight into things. I do want to start by explaining that this week is actually shaping out to be quite an interesting week in terms of delivery. I've kind of been constantly in and out of the charts, just reanalyzing things. And one thing I want to bring our attention to is the fact that we have just traded into this weekly bearish order block. Now, don't get me wrong, I did bring our attention to this level on Sunday's video, and I think maybe in Monday's, but if you did watch my videos, you'll recall me saying that I wanted to see if we can trade up deeper into the order block and reach that daily bearish order block, which is resting inside of it. The fact that we've turned around at this level and we've had a down close day much deeper than I anticipated, and looks like we're closing lower, it does make me question if we are going to even bother continue higher. But I am still going to have this daily bearish order block marked out because price still may want to attempt to trade up into it. So I am going to keep that there. But in terms of accuracy and just my general understanding of direction right now, it's like completely off the charts, pun intended, because I'm not comfortable in knowing whether we are going to get an expansion tomorrow. And if we are going to get an expansion, whether we are going to see it lower. I am anticipating some kind of reversal because we looked at the seasonal tendencies, and you can see that we're due a shift in market, a quarterly shift anyway because of the month April, and two, April tends to be a bearish month anyway. So I am expecting a reversal. I want to make that clear. It's just calling the top of the reversal. That's never really something to do, which is why I don't want to do it now. But yeah, we'll drop down to lower time frames to get a closer look. One thing to take note of is the fact that we have respected this imbalance which got traded through on the upside. So you can see our price traded into that today, and we've just come off of it. So tomorrow again, I'm watching to see if price does trade back through this imbalance. At that point, I'll then expect this fair value gap right here to get traded to. Now, this isn't a fair value gap exactly, it's a volume imbalance, so to speak. So this will be my target for price on the downside, assuming we trade through this imbalance. If price continues to show support on this imbalance, then I'll simply have my target still set for that 105.4 level, which I've been drawing our attention to for the week. So yeah, price action is interesting right now. You can see it's quite ugly. You can see all we've done is fill in this range today. We traded higher, took out this high, broke lower, completely trading and filling in this fair value gap. And again, if you watch yesterday's video, you know I didn't want to see the fair value gap get completely filled, but you can see that is exactly what happened. So again, if we are turning around at this level, this blue level, it's completely fine and understandable because it is a weekly bearish order block. So we should realistically be anticipating a strong reaction off of that level anyway. Furthermore, we have ran stops above this swing high. So if that is the case, then we can start looking at bearish PDRAs to start trading to, such as that daily level I marked out in orange. But we also have this massive fair value gap in orange that I'm going to make red down here as well on the weekly. So let's go to the 1 hour now, and you'll see how price traded up into that level, hit it one more time, and then we've broken lower. And then our next target, if this is a shift in market, then we should be hunting for these sell stops here and here, with expectations trading to this fair value gap right here. But again, it all depends on how we treat this level. But looking at price, it's looking considerably weak right now, which is completely fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to split the day up, just like so. And yeah, it's times like these when I am, like in the markets, I am genuinely unsure. So I tend not to be trading. I tend to just wait. And what I'm waiting for exactly, I just want to see clear displacement. So if we see a large expansion lower, and like I said, we start disrespecting these PD arrays, then I know we can start hunting for some kind of sell stops, which is completely fine. If again, we are turning around at this level, and this is the low of Tuesday, if this low gets violated tomorrow on Wednesday, then I will then expect us to start targeting Monday's low. And that's because of Purge and Revert. I have spoke about this before. So tomorrow, again, moving into Wednesday, I'm now watching this low to get targeted. If we trade through it, completely fine. And I'll start looking for these lows. And again, we have a big weekly fair value gap to get targeted as well. So it really just depends on price and how we trade. But you can see how we're just kind of consolidating right now. We do have an imbalance up here, which we've traded through on the downside, by the way. I'll show you that now. So you see how price traded through it, found resistance, and then has aggressively traded lower since. So we do have a swing from this high to this low. So price may want to return back up to this order block. This could be engineered liquidity, and then we may find some potential shorting opportunities. So what I am going to do is I'm going to mark out the midpoint of Tuesday's trading, assuming this is the low. And you'll see that lines up with a nice fair value gap and breaker. And I will zoom in just to show you in more clear detail. But I will be watching this level to see how price trades to it if we do hit it tomorrow. So let's just get all these marked out. And you'll notice I'm doing a lot more like analysis than usual. And the reason I'm doing a lot more analysis than usual is purely because the data isn't clear to me right now. So I'm willing to go that extra mile in terms of looking at the midpoints of the daily range and figuring out, okay, where do I want to see price trade to, or where would I expect it to be turning around at, etc. So here's where price broke to the downside, 9 o'clock. And then you can see we've just been trading lower since. We do have a breaker here. We've got a high, a low, a higher high. And then from there, price has delivered nicely to the downside, which is why I'm watching this last down close candle, which lines up with that 50% of the range as well. If we do trade higher up into that, and then we see a nice reaction away from it, I'd then expect that Tuesday low to get targeted. And like I said, we'd then start thinking about looking for Monday's low as well, where you can see relative equal lows below there as well. And then also, we do have the Asia lows from Sunday into Monday, and I'll show you what I mean by that. So you'll notice that on Monday, price never traded into the Asia lows. So price will likely want to draw down into that as well, assuming we do want to trade lower. But again, low probability, and price isn't the cutest right now, so we do need to be very careful. So what does all this mean? Overall, moving into tomorrow, I'm watching this midpoint to provide support if we do retrace higher. And then I'm looking at Tuesday's low to give way. If Tuesday's low gives way and we start trading through, remember this is an imbalance, an inversion imbalance. If this all gives way, this blue box, and we start trading below it, I'd simply start hunting for shorts on dollar with the expectation to run for Monday's low and that Asia range from Sunday's low, with the expectation to start reaching for that weekly fair value gap down here. If we say find support and we trade above this 50% level and we find support on it, then I'll simply expect these highs to get ran from Tuesday and that daily bearish order block to get targeted to. So yeah, this is why I'm not really in the markets in terms of trading right now, because when I can see two clear potential ways that price can go, it shows uncertainty, and I don't like that, obviously. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on dollar. I hope that makes sense. Definitely join the Discord server. I am going to be in there watching price and stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting if you do mark out the midpoint of the daily ranges, because it will help you kind of frame, okay, where we like to draw to next. But what I do like about this, what we saw here, is the fact that we made a high, a low, a higher high, and then broke lower. So we've bumped into this weekly level twice now, twice. This is like classic price action, generally speaking. But again, it's just looking at how we treat this, really. So yeah, we'll see how Asia trades. Definitely taking our time, and you can see we do have high impact news at 10 a.m. and 12 o'clock as well. We've got the Fed Chair Powell speech. So there's a lot that is going to be going on tomorrow, but at least we have some levels to keep our eye on, and we should be able to look for setups once we're at these levels. So pretty much in terms of trading, I wouldn't be thinking about a trade unless we're either at this midpoint or we're above this level. No, let me say that again. I won't be thinking about trades unless we're at this midpoint, pretty much, and it's a significant time. So let's say we reach this at like 8:30, or maybe even London at 2 a.m. and we start seeing resistance at this breaker I was talking about. Then I know, okay, we're likely gonna start running for lows. But it depends, because we could aggressively trade higher again and run for that daily bearish order block. So that's what I have my eyes set on. Very risky environments. It is non-farm payroll week, so nothing really to be too concerned about. And remember, we're anticipating a quarterly shift. We're in April, 4th month of the year, so we expect a big quarterly shift. I'm expecting a bearish shift, which is why I don't really want to call the top, because we'll know when that shift happens. Another thing as well, why I would be looking for low prices, and I've talked about this before as well, is gold. Gold has again made a new all-time high today. So you can see that gold just keeps rallying and pushing higher. And the fact that dollar hasn't shown, significant weakness compared to the way that gold's rallying, that's why I do think that it's just a matter of time before we see a big in the market where dollar just, snaps back into place, gets back into its correct role where it should be falling, but it's not right now. So they're obviously holding in consolidation for some kind of news event, non-farm payroll or whatever, before they start doing all that. So yeah, definitely be careful this week, guys. Let's head over onto GBP USD. We'll start with the weekly there as well. Hopefully we can get some in-depth analysis here as well. And you'll know on GBP I was expecting lower prices with a potential run for these sell stops below here. Now, again, if we're expecting dollars trade lower, and at this point, I don't know whether I want to see dollar trade lower or higher, to be honest. So not really too concerned. But we do still have this fair value gap up here. But let's go to the daily and we'll see how price traded. So we did, here's Tuesday's price action, we came up. And now we have this fair value gap that's formed right here. Now, if price respects the 50% level of this fair value gap right here, then we know we can probably assume shorts in this range to go lower. But again, it really depends what dollar's doing, especially how pounds, slowly filling in this range by the looks of things. But the fact that there are like relative equal lows, clear relative equal lows below here, makes me want to think that price should come grab those and then trade higher. But honestly, in terms of probability, it's quite difficult. We can see some relative equal lows below here as well. But at the same time, we can see aggressive trading higher. And if you watch my video yesterday, I'll go to the hourly real quick, 15 minute. I did bring our attention to this candle right here. And I said, if price trades above that, then I don't want to be bearish. And you can see that price traded right through that very, very ugly day. Like, this is not the kind of environment you want to be in. And then continues to trade higher, to press higher. So all of this consolidation, if price is going to go to the downside, it will do it very aggressively. Other than that, we should anticipate this range to get filled and for potential higher prices. If this is the reversal, then it's doing it in a very weird manner. Another thing to take note of is that we did take out this low with this swing right here. Just about, I believe. I'll double check that right now. So yeah, this low took out this low. So we do have a reversal model is in low, high, low, low, and break higher. And then we look at the last down close candle. We drag that out. And I'm looking at the highest volume. And you can see our price is tagged into that 1, 2, 3 a few times before trading higher. So again, it's just a matter of seeing, can price continue to show support for higher prices, assuming dollar is going to move lower. But I really don't know, guys. It's getting very ugly. So tomorrow, in terms of price action, probably staying out of it. But it is interesting, the fact that we did trade above this high, which I didn't want to see get violated. But the fact that it has, we should take it into account. And we should use that to think, okay, if we are going to trade higher, where we're going to go to? Well, we can see clear relative equal highs up here. So that's going to be one target for price. And we obviously have that daily fair value gap up here as well. So let me go to the 1 hour. And I'm just going to put a buy side target of this swing high right here. So there's a few swing highs up here, to be honest. We've got this high. We've got these relative highs. And then we got this high as well. And if you remember last week, I was looking at this high saying, I don't think we're done. So that might be a target for price. But again, high impact news, not until 10 a.m. But, we might see consolidation until that 8:30 time when we see a setup form. And then we can expect much more movement and volatility. Another thing to take note of is the fact that we did dip down like this. This could simply be a purging of liquidity. And I'm going to show you the same thing I did on dollar in terms of looking for daily highs and lows. So we ran down into these sell stops. Assuming let's say we're bullish now, we've accumulated sell stops where we're going to distribute them to the buy side, which is why I've have all of these targets marked out and we have a massive imbalance to fill. If we trade through this buy side liquidity, this is the shift, and then we can start, expecting a run much higher. But right now, it's just a matter of seeing, okay, does price want to continue to push higher and, continue to respect its bullish PD arrays? What I'm going to do is what I did on dollar as well. Like I just said, I'm going to get the daily dividers up. Like so. So we got Tuesday here. And then we'll get Monday as well. And again, so I'm going to use the same logic I just did. If this is the purging, this is the lowest we've made because this low came below. This low went below this low. So this would be the purging day, meaning that tomorrow, if we are to take out Tuesday's highs, and I'll make them blue, if we are to take out these highs tomorrow, then we can potentially start anticipating Monday's high to get targeted. And you can see obviously the buy side targets up there. So that's how I'm looking at price, really. But it is interesting to see how that 15-minute order block, I want to see, can it hold up price? But the fact that we rallied after taking out this low, just by a tad, by the way, just by a tad, just about. The fact that we saw this rally is, you know, showing some kind of willingness to want to go higher. But I'm definitely going to keep an eye on Tuesday's high and Monday's high running into Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep note of. Let me also mark out Sunday again, Sunday opening. This is quite a long video, guys. Appreciate you guys. If you're still watching, hit the subscribe button. So that's the Sunday opening. We'll keep that on our charts because, again, once price gets back above that, we should anticipate this to act as like a support level for price, and then we can use that to help add confluence to our expectation to run up into that weekly or daily fair value gap, was it? So let me just get the rest of the week marked out. I may as well. And then let me just round up by saying, so I'm going to round up by saying, so long as this 15-minute order block, so long as price doesn't come back below here, I'm happy to be bullish on pound. Again, with the assumption that dollar does want to press higher. But this kind of price action, not the cleanest environment at all. Very consolidated, but consolidation means strength. So they're clearly strengthening and accumulating orders. Why? Because they're going to potentially push price higher. And I say potentially because I don't know. We're just speculators. Another thing we can do, just like we did on dollar, again, midpoint. I'm not going to draw it out this time because it lines up nicely with that 15-minute order block. And I might as well get rid of that. We'll make this orange. But 50% level lines up with that nicely. So again, we should be looking at these levels of the range to provide support. So moving into the new day, this 50% level is the lowest I want to see price for me to remain bullish. Again, assuming dollar wants to respect bearish PD arrays and push lower. So yeah, but I do not, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we consolidated right through to New York opening. And that the reason for that is because the news isn't until 10 a.m. And what you'll find is that London will probably consolidate, and then we'll see some kind of movement around 7 a.m. and then 8:30 it will get a little bit more exciting for setups, and then 10 a.m. bam, we'll start seeing movement and run to whichever liquidity it wants to go for. But like I said, I doubt it's going to want to go up here because, again, we've bumped it twice. High, low, higher, high, and then we've broken lower. So, and also we've been rallying for a while. There's going to be a lot of sell stops below here, but I don't know. We're just speculating. Let's finish on Euro. Try and get this done in 20 minutes. We'll go to a weekly. And you'll see how Euro traded just below the 50% level of this wick and came off of it. So we just small hawks below that. I am going to bring our attention to that. I'm surprised I didn't already, to be honest. We have a fair value gap here to trade into, and then, you know, an implied fair value gap pretty much this wick here on Euro. But anyway, let's go to the daily and you'll see how bullishly Euro's reacted. So we've came off Monday's low, took out that low. This is an implied fair value gap right here, by the way, guys. You can go study that. We traded into that, traded out of it. So again, if assuming we are bullish now, then our next target will be these highs, and we got a nice daily fair value gap up here as well. So let's get this marked out as a potential target, assuming price wants to go higher. I'm repeating myself here. And then we can drop down to the 4 hour and get a close look at price. So you see how Euro's a lot more clean in terms of low, high, lower, low, and broke to the upside. We simply need to be now looking at this last swing or a potential point where we can accumulate longs if we do want to be bullish. So let's go to the 1 hour just to get a better look at price. We have a nice order block down here. As far as I'm concerned, if we do have a nice retracement, this order block should act as a propulsion block and send price higher. So I'm going to get this order block high marked out, make it black. And then we know that once price gets to this level, we can think about potential longs with the expectation to run for that daily fair value gap. Again, the fact that we've bumped into this, remember this is consequent encroachment. We bumped it twice, just like dollar did with the high, lower, low. Technically, this is the breaker, and I'll explain what I mean. So this high, this swing, with 15 minute, you see how price you know, traded around that, created the order block and traded off of it. But the fact that we created this order block here as well, this should be the one we should be focusing on, because price shouldn't need to come back down to this breaker. We've already rebalanced it here. So that's why I've got my eyes set on this level more specifically. And also, if price was to get that deep, into, like if it fell that deeply, it would be quite ugly. So that's why I'm watching this level. And there's a nice little swing low where there could be engineered liquidity for us to grab, for us to what? Offset them above these swing highs. So again, purge and revert. And I keep saying purge and revert because you need to go and watch that video by ICT. So we've got Tuesday's price action right here. We've got Monday's price action right here. And tomorrow, what am I watching? You can probably guess now. I'm watching, does Tuesday's high get violated? Or if there's, you know, if there's signals of bullish price action on euro, I will look for Tuesday's high to get violated. So I'll be looking for this high to get violated. And then our next target will simply be Monday's high, which is right there. And in order to add confluence to this, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other pairs. So we look at this low to this high, and what we're looking at, the midpoint, and look at that, it lines up beautifully with the open of that bullish order block. Can't make this stuff up. We'll make this red. Again, if you're still watching, smash that subscribe button. Appreciate you. And yeah, I'm just watching. Okay, if prices retrace down here, maybe during London session or something or whatever, if price gets down here, do we see support? If we see support, I will then start thinking about potential longs with the expectation to run for that Tuesday high. And once that Tuesday high is taken out, then I'll be bullish for pretty much for the rest of the week, expecting us to just keep rallying and rallying into higher highs. And we've got some, you know, we've got targets that we can be hitting. But let's get back to price. But right now it's just a matter of seeing how price treats this level, and there is a fair value gap there as well. So yeah, very fickle price action right now. Definitely need to be careful with. Again, the way that dollar's rallying, it's driving me insane, but we'll just have to wait and see. Definitely be careful in these markets, guys. They're not clean right now. Pretty dirty. There's a 5 minute. Let's take a look at that. But I do believe this is engineered liquidity, and I would like to think that price will want to come down, grab those stops, and then potentially reverse for the rest of the day. So that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this insightful. Follow me on, join the Discord. The link's in the description. You can also follow me on Instagram at itsgbpbaby. And yeah, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, hit a like. Peace.